Hello guys and welcome back. If you like the Souls games, then this video will suit you because in this video we are going to looking at Souls series. And before we even begin, don't forget to subscribe and the like button down below. It would really mean a lot. And begin with Demon's Souls as an action role-playing video game developed by FromSoftware for PlayStation 3 under the supervision of Japan studio. It was published in Japan by Sony Computer Entertainment in February 2009 in North America by Atlas USA in October 2009 and in PAL territories by Namco Bandai Games in June 2010. The game is referred as a spiritual successor to FromSoftware's King's Field series. The first installment of the Souls series, Demon's Souls, is set in Bolteria, a kingdom consumed by a dark being called the Old One. Following its release through the use forbidden soul arts, players take on the role of a hero brought to Bolteria to kill its fallen king, Allant, and pacify the Old One. Gameplay has players navigating 5 different worlds from a hub called the Nexus with a heavy emphasis and challenging combat and mechanics surrounding a player death and respawning. Online multiplayer allows both player cooperation and world invasion, featuring a player versus player combat. This is a 2011 action role-playing game developed by FromSoftware and published by Namco Bandai Games, a spiritual successor to FromSoftware's Demon's Souls. The game is the second installment in the Souls series. Dark Souls takes place in a factional kingdom of Lordaeron, where players assume the role of a cursed undead character who brings pilgrimage to discover the fate of their kind. A port Microsoft Windows was released in August 2012, which featured additional content not seen in the original PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version in October 2012. And Dark Souls has been cited as one of the best video game of all time. Critics praised the depth of its compact interact level design and use flavor text. However, the game's difficulty received more mixed review, with some criticizing it for being too unforgiving. The original Windows version of the game was less well received, with a custom direct at several technical issues. By April 2013, the game has sold over 2 million copies. Worldwide, 2 sequels were released in the mid-2010, while a remastered version was released in 2018. Dark Souls 2 is an action role-playing game developed by FromSoftware and published by Bandai Namco Games. The third game is a Souls series. It was released for Microsoft Windows and PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Although both are set in game universe, there is no overt story connection between the Dark Souls and the sequel. The game uses dedicated multiplayer service taking place in the kingdom of Drangleic. The game features both player versus environment PvE and player versus player PvP gameplay, in addition to having some components as in the earlier games in the series. It again features challenging gameplay but with more powerful graphics engine, artificial intelligence system. After some initial delays, the game was released worldwide in March 2014, with Windows version being released on April 24th, 2014. Dark Souls 3 is a 2016 action role-playing video game developed by FromSoftware and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. It is the 4th installment of the Souls series and the final installment of the Dark Souls trilogy. It is an action role-playing game played as a third-person perspective. Players have access to a variety of weapons, armor, magic, and consumables that they can use to fight their enemies, and bonfires serve as checkpoints. The Estus flask, the consumable used for healing in Dark Souls 3, Ashin Estos Flasks, restore focus points FP, which can be used for magic or weapon arts. Hidetaka Miyazaki, the creator of the series, returned to direct the game after handing development of Dark Souls 2 to others, and FromSoftware. Dark Souls 3 was critically and commercially successful, with the critics calling it worthy and fitting conclusion to the series. It was the fastest selling game in Bandai Namco history, shipping over 3 million copies within it is the first 2 months and 10 million by 2020. 2 downloadable content DLC expansion, Ashes of the Arundel and the Ranged City, were also made for the game. A complete version containing the base game and both expansion Dark Souls 3 The Fire Fates was released in April 2017. Dark Souls Remastered. A remastered version of the game titled Dark Souls Remastered was released worldwide for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Windows in May 2018, and for the Nintendo Switch on October 19th, 2018. The remaster was ported by the Polish studio QLOC, whereas the Switch version was ported by the Singaporean studio Virtuos. The game runs at native 60 frames per second on all platforms except the PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X and Windows. Several changes were made to the online multiplayer, including the addition of detected service. The maximum number of players online increased from 4 to 6, and the addition of password matchmaking. Dark Souls Remastered received a generally favorable reviews from critics, according to review aggregator Metacritic. Critics praised and improved visual and performance, while criticism was directed towards the lack of effective anti-cheat system and the PC version's price. Despite few significant changes, it sold 71,793 copies in Japan during the week of its release, making it the best-selling game in the country at the time. And for the Demon's Souls is an action role-playing game developed by Blue Point Games with the assistance from Japan Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The game was released as a launch title for the PlayStation 5 in November 2020. It is a remake of Demon's Souls, originally developed by FromSoftware for PlayStation 3 in 2009. Upon release, the game received universal acclaim for critics who praised it as a gameplay, a visual, technical aspect and improvements over the original game. The game features new weapons, armor and rings, and a new item called cranes, which give players a temporary resistance to effects like poison, fire and bleeding. As with the original, players are limited in how much they can carry before their character becomes encumbered, although some aspects of the encumbrance system have been adjusted. For example, in the original game, healing grasses have no weight, so players could potentially carry hundreds of them. In the remake, these healing items now have a weight associated with them, so that the amount players can carry is significantly lessened. And that was it for this video. Thank you all for watching and thank you for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.